Okay, so we keep hearing on the news about this cash for access for the BC Liberals, and people are concerned that all these construction companies are getting these jobs, right? Which is a big deal. But have you given any thought to the fact that lawyers and law firms are donating to the BC Liberals as well? So some people could say that lawyers have the right to have their own political opinions, and maybe that's true. But in a way, if you think about it, and I'm going to give you an example because this exactly happened to me, and there's no way that this could be an only incident, and it's very disturbing, and it bothers the hell out of me because nobody's talking about this aspect of the cash for access or the all these donations. Like over $13 million last year was donated to the BC Liberals, and by all means, in the articles, people are saying that it's very controversial, and some U.S. Newspapers are calling it the Wild West, and that basically BC's government is for sale. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but there's a whole lot of, I don't know. You know, you got to think about it. I think there's something going on. So it's one thing when lawyers are donating to the BC Liberal Party. What are they expecting to get, right? What happens when it is the firm itself is donating? Law is law, right? So what advantage do you think that a law firm is expecting to get by donating vast amounts of money to the BC Liberal Party? So a law firm that I use, because I have a civil case right now that's pending in the courts, and I'm suing the BC Liberal government. I'm suing the Ministry of Transportation. And it turns out, and I didn't know this when I hired my law firm, that they are very liberal. And, whatever. But when you're suing the Liberal Party or the Liberal government, that might not be a good thing. Because maybe, and I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe they're not working in your best interest. So now if I was hiring a law firm that I needed favors from and could get favors from the BC Liberals, that would be a good thing for me, wouldn't it? But what if I'm suing the people they support? Do you think I'm getting the right representation? Do you think I'm getting fair representation? It's a really honest question, and it's a question that all media should be asking right now, because beyond who's building our bloody roads, this is judicial. How do you know you're being represented? And that's my question. So you know what I did is I went onto Elections BC website, and I Googled Pusher Mitchell, who is the law firm that I'd hired to represent my family in this dispute that we have with the Ministry of Transportation. And lo and behold, not only did my lawyer donate to the Liberal Party, the firm itself was a pretty heavy donator to the Liberal Party. And you can look this up. It's very easy to go to Elections BC and look up the campaign financing. Mind you, there's nothing yet on there that I've seen from 2017. So Pusher Mitchell has donated over $10,000 to the Liberal Party, the firm itself, not just the principals of the firm itself. So what is the firm expecting to get from that money? I don't know. But I can tell you that a series of red flags went off before I even was privy to any of this stuff, that things maybe weren't going, they weren't progressing. And I was finding out from my lawyer, because, you never talk to them at $400 an hour. You want to bother them as little as possible, and you hope that they're working on your behalf. I find out my file's sitting on the desk for a year, nothing's going on, paperwork that's supposed to get to the other side isn't getting to the other side, and you know what kind of excuse I get? I don't know. I don't have an excuse, really. I'm sorry. So that's not the only thing, but there's other things that made me feel like we weren't being represented. So we fired them. And we found somebody else. But before we found that somebody else, we Googled him. And we went on to Elections BC, and we saw whether that lawyer was donating to the BC Liberal Party, or if his firm or anybody at the firm was donating to the BC Liberals. And they weren't. So we hired him. Now, in the last general election in 2013, here's the interesting tidbit on how close Pusher Mitchell is to the Liberal Party. The campaign manager, turns out, for the local Liberal MLA, Steve Thompson, guess who his campaign manager was? The founder and principal of my firm. So if that's not a bit of a conflict, I don't know. But I can tell you that it made me very uneasy to know that my files are sitting, my confidential files are sitting in his building. He's representing the other side, right, during this election. So I know where they're, I know who they like. I know who they're pulling for, and it isn't me. But they are taking my money, tens of thousands of dollars in legal bills. Now, I don't know if something was going on. I don't know if things were shared with the other side. I don't know if maybe my paperwork was left sitting on a desk and somebody looked at it. I don't know. And I'm hoping it didn't. But it begs the question, was I being represented? Are you being represented when your firm that you've hired to go after the Liberal government on your behalf is a friend of the Liberal government? Are you being represented? That's my question, and that is a legitimate question, and that's what all media should be asking right now. This whole cash for access goes far and far beyond who's building our highways and who's getting all these $758 million in contracts that they're talking about in the Globe and Mail article. It goes far beyond that. This is judicial. Are you being represented? And let's take this another step farther. Are judges donating to the BC Liberal Party? And what is the judges expecting to get in return from the BC Liberal Party? They're in power, the party. They're the government of British Columbia. Why would firms and judges be donating to them? They should be impartial. They should be nonpartisan, unbiased, 100%. There should be no question at all. Are you being represented? Ask everybody, forward this to everybody that you know that you can think of. And if you have hired a firm, go to Elections BC, look them up and see if your lawyer, the firm, or anybody at the firm is a big, heavy Liberal donator. Now that might be to your best advantage if you need their help. But if you're suing them, you might think twice. Pass this video around, please.